Boom, shakalaka boom. You're tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio, the most incendiary show in all of Mississippi, and dare I say, all of the United States, at least that has an FM signal attached to it. We know no boundaries. We break rules when necessary, which is regularly and often, multiple times a show. And I think that's why we got the number one show in town, because people like honesty. They like rule breakers within reason. And that's what you were tuned in for this morning. I'm glad you're here. I want to thank everybody that came out yesterday to our Road to the Super Bowl party, the AFC-NFC Championship game watch party out there at Cameron's Garage. I think the rain kept a couple people home, but you wouldn't have known it. The folks that showed up. They stayed the whole time. They were ready to have a good time, and that they did. I met a bunch of new friends. I looked up at one moment, and I swear over half of the venue had on some type of FAFO merch. I wanted to get a big group photo, but I didn't want to seem too narcissistic. But it was really cool. I appreciate everybody that came out and supported what we were doing. It was fun hanging out. Got to meet some new people also, and sat at a table with a bunch of folks that had not heard of the Clay Edwards Show. I can assure you now they do, as I went through each one of their phones and followed me. I was like, let me show you the easiest way to watch. And hopefully those guys and girls are watching now. Hey, look, man, we got a good one here this morning. Before I introduce my guest to you, real quick, this segment is going to be brought to you by, and I don't normally do a sponsor on the first segment, but we have been blessed to have so many sponsors on this show that we've got to start reading some more. We got to start squeezing in more plugs when we can. But this one's going to be an easy one because I got the man, the myth, the legend himself sitting right across from me from Guns and Gear, Mr. Hunter Sartain. And next to him, we've got Mr. Tyler Tharp there with Synergy Training Group. I will get it right. Synergy Training Group. And we're going to have our Second Amendment roundtable this morning. But with that said, if we pique your interest, if anything we talk about this morning involves a piece of firearm machinery, equipment, accessory, and whatnot, most likely that can be obtained out there from Hunter at Guns and Gear, located on Highway 51 North at in Gluckstadt at what's that little road? What's that? Yandell. I've said it a million times. You would think I could get it. And somebody's always fighting about Yandell about something. It's a point of contention regularly and often, or it's me giving directions to Guns and Gear. So Yandell Road, right there on 51. If you pass Yandell and the fire station going north, you went too far, turn around. They're right next to the Booze Smokehouse Barbecue and the little craft beer barn. Well, it's not a beer barn, but it's the craft beer place right there in the little shopping center. What's the name of that shopping center?
Barley's. The Twin Cedar Shopping Center.
Twin Cedar Shopping Center. That I never knew.
Yep.
So they're right there in the shopping center on the corner of Yandell and 51. Swing by, see them, or check them out online on their all-new website, gunsandgear.co. And it's guns in, like Guns N' Roses. There's no and in it. It's Guns in Gear. And they're down here in the South. We will replace the word and with in real quick in our slang, but it may read a completely different way. So it's the letter N, gunsngear.co. And Hunter, is that a full-service website? Can they purchase on there? Can they do everything?
They can. Yes, they can.
They can. And if you ship, it just got to go to somebody with a PFL. What's it?
FFL.
FFL. I get all my abbreviations butchered here. So same old.
Anybody
who's bought a gun online knows the process.
They should, yes.
And if they buy it online and pick it up from your store, clearly you're the...
That's it.
All right. Keep it simple and stupid.
That's it.
I've never bought... Well, I have bought one gun online. So I did have to go through that. And a guy did it out of his house out in Raymond somewhere, I think. Anyway, it worked out. Got a gun. That was before I was aware of Guns and Gear. So, moving forward, guys, glad to have you all in the studio this morning.
Man,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this will be our second time doing this. If anybody wants to call in this morning, you got any gun questions or firearm training questions?
Yep, use of force, defensive use of force, and any firearm-pertained questions.
Yeah, so we know, Hunter, we know what Guns and Gear does. Tyler, tell people what you do.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I am a full-spectrum pistol and carbine instructor / shooting coach. So I started out doing the enhanced carry classes like every Joe Blow out there, and just evolved into more intermediate advanced training, which is my specialty. So I think anyone that carries a gun every day without fail, whether civilian or law enforcement, that is my main clientele for my open enrollment classes. As far as private lessons go, anything goes. You can book me for anything. I don't really do the enhanced carry classes anymore, except on a private basis, on a private lesson rate. If that's something that somebody wants, then absolutely. I actually just did one recently. But
you could do like group training, stuff like that, if people wanted to do that.
Exactly. Group training, specialized to what they want, if it's enhanced carry permit or if they just want to simply learn how to draw from a holster or defensive use case training.
Say, for example, there's a church and all the church security
love church security teams.
Doesn't have their enhanced.
Yes.
You could get the whole group through the training process, make a day of it, whatever it is, and boom, they're done.
Yeah, or, I mean, if they just want continuing training, which they should,
sure.
I can go out to their church. We can do site-specific training.
And this is something you do a lot of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I can even handle their qualifications, their annual or biannual qualifications, and all the paperwork and tracking that goes with that. So, yeah, full spectrum carbine and pistol training.
And how do people get in touch with you?
The easiest way to hit up the website, synergyshooting.com is the website, and you get the contact form there. If you're a social media person, you can look for Synergy Training Group on the Instagrams, Facebook, and YouTube.
And he's very active on those. I follow them all and see stuff posted regularly and often, even daily.
Social media is a pain in the rear.
Yeah, it is. And I imagine for both of y'all, with doing anything with firearms, it's an absolute night. I know Hunter's nightmare stories with keeping his Facebook up and trying to get Facebook old pages back and what you can post, what you can't, what you can run ads for, what you can. So it's an absolute nightmare. For no
ads
reason.
Are a waste of time for me. Like I remember I spent like $60-something on a Facebook ad a few months ago, and for 5 days and zero. Like the metrics on it were a goose egg, so I just gave Meta $60.
I know. I've been there. You'd be better off doing that on X.
On X?
Yeah.
Hadn't transitioned yet. I just downloaded Rumble like 3 days ago.
Hey, look, I like Rumble. I support Rumble. We're streaming live to Rumble right now. Mm-hmm. It costs $10 a month to be able to stream. I do it because it's an uncensored backup. It's basically like a good cloud to back up all my content to, that I know if YouTube, Facebook, any of them get a wild hair and decide to, well, we don't like you no more, I've at least got a foundation of my content over at Rumble. But, here in Mississippi, we're slow when it comes to stuff with social media and changes. There's not a whole lot of Rumble folks in Mississippi.
Yeah.
There's a few. Shout out to my buddy Chris. That says he listens to the show every day on Rumble, watches the show on Rumble or whatever. Nice. So, and I watch Salty Cracker, my favorite streamer. He does his first hour on YouTube, then he does the second hour on Rumble because it's content that YouTube isn't going to put up with. And it's just a normal conversation for us, but as y'all know, the Google overlords, you're not allowed to talk about certain things over there.
Quote unquote freedom of speech.
Yeah. And we're streaming there as well on YouTube. We're streaming in 4K video this morning on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. I've had no problems out of X and Rumble. Honestly, I haven't had problems out of Facebook lately, but YouTube can still be a pain in the arse.
Well, did you see the interview that Mark Zuckerberg did recently? I guess it wasn't an interview; it was just his statement, it was like an address in the nation type of thing.
Yeah, and we've talked about it pretty in depth, but we can definitely hit it here real quick because I was about to touch on that anyway. That has not all been implemented yet. I mean, maybe some of the guardrails have been taken off some because I have seen, my content not get messed with as much. I haven't gotten a, knock on wood, a community guideline strike or warning.
Yeah, I've only gotten a couple
lately. And I did re-upload a video when they were getting ready to take TikTok down. I went through and just kind of downloaded some of my biggest videos or some of my personal favorites. And most of them all should be on Instagram too, but it's just easier to stroll on TikTok for some reason to find old videos. But with that said, I re-uploaded one of my funnier ones about, it was a 100% true story, by the way, that the fact checkers decided wasn't because it makes them look bad.
Well, sure.
Like anything on the Democrat side of it makes them look bad. This has been debunked. No, it hasn't been debunked. Y'all said it, and I'm making fun of you for saying it, and you don't like it because it went nuclear viral and got 3 or 4 million views. But it was the one about the Joe Biden administration looking at making a recommendation that Americans should have no more than 2 beers a week. And
that was recent.
Yeah, it was pretty recent. So it got fact checked, and it demonetizes it for one thing. Man. So there's on a couple million views, that's close to $1,000.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Depending on the platform. Now,
shoot, the best I get is $20 from Facebook.
Yeah, well. It can get on up there. You get into the millions of views on, but it pays 1 million views pays even more on TikTok, and they ironically is censorship, not friendly, is censorship happy as TikTok can be on anything. They didn't care about it. They let it roll, But the USA Today fact checker, who used to actually be here in Mississippi, he debunked it, so to say. He's like, this is a fake story. I was like, it's from Fox News, and they're reading the press release from the health administration or whatever federal organization concocted this nonsense, and it's just me making fun of it. What is fake about this? Y'all sound ridiculous.
You are ridiculous.
It's going to hurt Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I say all that to say I reposted it.
Yeah.
And it got fact checked again. So I know the fact checkers are still there.
You can block them.
Can you?
Yeah. Years ago when all this stuff was rolling out, man, I spent like probably 15 minutes on Facebook searching fact checkers and like all the different ways of spelling it and putting zeros and things like that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I blocked every one of them.
Nice.
Every one I could find.
Nice. Yeah. So that's what I should have done with that guy. His name, I'll tell you all his name. He used to be here at the Clarion Ledger. He works for USA Today. He sent me an email about something unrelated, telling me he liked the Save Jackson page, and he had actually reached out about another story I did. He was going to try to fact check it too. It was clearly satire. It was about the floating Waffle House.
Yeah.
The floating Waffle House?
Yeah, they're putting a floating Waffle House. I found an AI image of a Waffle House on a barge. I said, coming to Flag Island summer 2024.
Dude, that would sell like crazy.
It would be good.
It's a great idea.
And this dude went through the trouble of trying to find out if that was real or not. I said, it clear. I said, even if you read the caption at the end, satire.
Yeah.
But what was his name? His name is Jody McCreary. He's a fact check reporter for USA Today. Yeah, so he wrote me a email trying to be nice. Tell me that he follows my page for Jackson and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, you also fact checked me. It cost me a couple $1,000s on a video that was not fake news. I'm gonna read y'all my reply to him. It says, so I'm familiar with who you are. You falsely fact checked my video on Instagram about the Biden administration considering making a recommendation of only 2 beers a week, which cost me thousands of dollars in monetization revenue, when my story was in fact 100% true. I just told it in an entertaining way because it's the internet.
People like that are the guys that justify homeowners associations and then are in charge of HOAs.
Oh, yeah.
And will come to your house and tell you that you left your trash can out for 3 minutes too long.
That's big HOA president vibes there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said that guy probably don't own a house. But that's a guy who wants to be an HOA president. But just one day, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to become an HOA president. And if there's not an HOA, we're going to get one.
Yeah.
It's like, they talk about, people talk about cops that, you're just a cop because you got beat up and bullied in school and da-da-da-da. Well, same thing if that is true for fact check guy here. Fact check guy's like, big jock looking guy, this is my way of getting back at anybody that's ever disagreed with me. You're a conservative. Debunked. I didn't plan on debunking things this morning, but we're going to take a break here real quick, come right back and actually get into the meat of what today's topic's about. We're going to talk about some gun stuff, and I do want to get into Trump going full FAFO on the Colombian president. I mean, we have elected a mobster, and I love it. We have gone full La Cosa Nostra in the White House, and we are getting things done just the way America's supposed to, leading through strength. And that's how you do it. We'll be right back with Hunter Sartain and Tyler Tharp on our 2A Roundtable show this morning here on WYAB and, of course, online, streaming in 4K video at Save JXN on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. We'll be right back. Hey, if you got any questions or comments, the Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. If you want to call in this morning, you got any firearms-related questions, it doesn't matter what it is. We can probably get you an answer between the two of these guys. The phone number is 601-879-0002. And if you're watching online, just drop a comment, and I will read those. If it makes sense to read on air, we'll get you there. All right, we'll be right back. Jump into it without the gun stuff real quick. I do want to talk about what Trump did yesterday. I didn't get a chance to see it live because I was doing that live remote all day. But I guess I saw the text messages, and I bet you 50 people sent me links to it. And basically, Trump went full FAFO on the Colombian president, and he's like, "We're not taking our criminal illegal aliens back over here. You have to keep them." Oh, contraire, mon frere. Trump dropped Thor's hammer on this fool. And it was like, okay, I'm enacting emergency tariffs. Week 1, 25%. Week 2, 50%. And anybody that is affiliated with the Colombian government must leave the country now. All dignitaries and politicians, their families, everybody. Bye. And anybody coming in from Colombia, you're now going through super duper Homeland Security search. Basically, everybody's getting an anal probe. We're going all in. Within a couple of hours, dude said, "We will take our citizens back, and we will also offer the use of our presidential plane." So then Trump posted a picture of him dressed up like a Colombian drug dude, like in a zoot suit kind of thing. And it said FAFO behind him. So I just want to say, man, Trump is now co-signed on FAFO. If you guys need any FAFO merch, like the hat I'm wearing now, buyfafo.com. Buyfafo.com. It is now in the mainstream zeitgeist with Trump doing it. So just thought I would throw that out there. Hunter, I need you closer to the mic, brother.
Man, I hate that America is having to be such a bully to get things back in the way it is. But I mean, it's got to be done. We have bent over and backwards and let so many other countries take advantage of us for so long that this is the kind of stuff it's going to take to get it back to the way we need it.
Yeah, but every now and then you got to smack folks up and remind them that somebody's new in charge.
Yeah.
This ain't her old boyfriend. This is her new boyfriend. Yeah. We do things different around here now.
That's right.
It's like when a new general manager comes in at a car lot. Like no, there's a reason there's a new general manager. Things weren't going well the last time. Y'all are lazy. You ain't doing your jobs. You got some no good. And Trump's coming back in and ruling through, some people would call it fear, some would call it strength, whatever. He's getting things done. I've never seen a guy touch down and be so successful so quick.
Yeah.
As far as
we're a weekend.
Promises made, promises kept.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch any of the press conference in Los Angeles over the weekend from Friday night when he flew out there? And he had the mayor.
I've been in the woods all weekend.
He had the mayor of L.A. He had Gavin Newsom. He had a bunch of the woke cuck L.A. California politicians. Talking about the fire and stuff. He didn't go in on them too hard as far as like DEI and all that, but he did go hard on them. Called them stupid basically over the water. He's basically saying, we're not giving you any federal money until you agree to eliminate the permit process for these houses getting rebuilt. I mean, past just the basic, yes, this works, rubber stamp it, get on out of here, because we're eliminating all the federal permitting.
Yeah.
Past just the rubber stamping it, here you go,
he did
you're
that
good.
in North Carolina the other day.
Do what?
He did that in North Carolina the other day.
Yeah, he did both, same thing both places.
Okay.
And he's like, we're eliminating the federal. I don't think in North Carolina you got to worry about the crazy state stuff. In California, it can take up to 10 years to clear permits. On the state.
Oh, wow.
To get built. That's why this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And some of them, they were talking about 18 months just to be able to get the permit to clean the lots.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
He said 18 days is too long. He says, as a matter of fact, something about a week. The mayor said, and she was like crazy lady.
Yeah.
She was like, well, we think within a week we can get them out there. That's too long. A week is too long. They're ready to start cleaning tonight.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to people out there, the burning is done. There's nothing left to burn. It's all burned up. Even the bricks burned. Even the fireplace is melted. He said, they're ready to start getting cleaned up. The city's not going to do any of this nonsense where you put out for bids and you're one of your buddies, like in Jackson, for instance, this happened here. Chalkway would make sure that one of his minority set-aside contractors got the contract to go do all the cleanup and debris removal. But I'm not doing none of that. If these people got money, if they want to pay to get their lot cleaned, they can pay to get their lot cleaned and get started.
Absolutely.
And remember, he brought that Thor's hammer again on them. And he's like, hey, Now, they didn't bring back up in this thing. Some they did like a question and answer. It was really interesting. It was like a round table. And like he was taking questions and answering. I've never seen nothing like it from a president, and I loved it. And I think I don't want to speak for Democrats, but I think Democrats liked it too, because like the ones there really, I think they really appreciate it. I think a lot of people are fed up. I think what you have in California, you have a lot of Republicans that had to run as Democrats to get elected.
Oh yeah,
Probably, yeah.
Just like here, you got a lot of Democrats that had to run as Republicans to get elected. Mm-hmm. And you could tell by the shenanigans that are going on down there at that Capitol. But I could tell from this press conference that there were some based dudes that I can assure you they ain't got an R by their name.
Right.
And they were like, man, thank you so much, Mr. Trump. We appreciate you coming here. We appreciate you bringing up these permit situation and all this stuff. And it was really cool. I'm going to be honest. Trump went hard on them, but they took it. You know, like we'll see what the fallout is. But he had mentioned originally that it was going to be tied into voter ID. You're going to have to do this no voter ID stuff. I mean, that's going to be contingent on this, that, and the nonsense they're doing with their water.
Yeah,
he's like
the whole rerouting they did for like the sake of water conservation. Like whoever was in charge of that ought to be prosecuted in some type of way.
100%. All right. We got some of this out of the way. There's just so much news over the weekend, man. I do a disservice to my audience if I don't talk about the stuff I know they want to hear. And I mean, you got to play the hits.
Yep.
You got to play the hits. Look, I got Tyler Tharp, Synergy Training Group.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get it right this time?
Yeah, that's it.
Synergy Training Group. I've got Hunter Sartain, Guns and Gear. Y'all know Guns and Gear. You've been on the show for 2 or 3 years now. 3 years now as the sponsor of the text line, if not longer. You've been out there buying guns. You hear me talk about it constantly. We're having a Second Amendment open discussion, talk about guns, talk about when we come back, I want to talk about the bullets we dodged by having Trump in office and not a Kamala term. And what that could have done to our Second Amendment rights potentially. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, we do have a, air quotes in the studio, strong conservative Supreme Court to keep the crazy stuff from happening. But you never know. You never know who can be compromised.
That's right.
But we're going to talk about some of that good stuff. And really want to hear from you guys. We've already sent a couple questions in on the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. If you're watching on the online stream, shoot your comments there in the comment section. Or if you want to call in and talk to these guys, 601-879-0002 is the Mazda of Jackson phone line. We will be right back here on the radio and online on the Clay Edwards Show. Martin's Downtown or Martin's Livingston. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes left in this long segment. Let's talk about this incident that happened down in Florida. The female cop is removing a fellas. They pull over a guy, kind of set it up here. Black guy. Unfortunately, it's always a black guy, and which makes these things through the lens of social justice and through the lens of the internet 100 times worse. But this clearly was not intentional. So I think that maybe that's why we hadn't seen quite the uproar on it. No, it wasn't intentional. They pull the guy over. Like, hey, they search him. He's like, I do have a firearm. He has a concealed carry. I don't know if he had a legal concealed carry. The little blurb I found about it didn't mention that or not. What is Florida a concealed carry? Surely Florida's a.
You can get permits. I was actually just looking up the details on why they even pulled him over to begin with.
Yeah.
And why they had probable cause to pull him out of his vehicle and search him.
You found anything?
Yeah, he ran a red light, and when the officers walked up to him, they called for another unit to come in. It was 3 total cops. So they walked up, and they saw the steering column was damaged, so they suspected it was stolen. So there's your probable cause, pulling him out of the vehicle and all that. And he had already declared. So in Florida, you do not have a duty to declare unless specifically asked.
Now tell people what that means.
So our duty to inform.
That you have a firearm.
Yep. So in Mississippi is the same way. You're not mandated or required to tell an officer you have a gun on you.
I do.
I
don't want to get snuck up, so I don't like surprises.
Right. Unless they specifically ask you. Now, if they specifically ask you, yes, I have a concealed carry gun on me and all that, and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, let me say this real quick because we kind of jumped. The guy gets pulled over. He's got his hands up. Mm-hmm. One cop's kind of searching him. The female cop comes up. She's removing his pistol out of his pocket, and it's got a clip, like a.
It's in a holster.
It's in a holster. Yeah. Thank you. And she pulls it out, and she pulls the damn trigger and shoots him in the leg with his own gun.
Worth noting, she is right-handed.
Yeah.
You can tell that by the way her gear is situated on her body. And the gun was in her left hand when she did that. So obviously she has no clue how to properly handle a gun. She's never been formally trained.
Yeah.
And I say that with all intents and purposes because, unfortunately, as formal as you may think a law enforcement academy is, the amount of training they get on handguns is very small across however long that academy is. Firearms Week is usually just a week long.
Yeah.
And it's just, hey, here's how you pull the trigger, shoot the paper, we'll qualify, and they might teach you a few other things, and that's about it.
It looked like a Glock.
It was a Glock 45. I think it was a Glock 30.
And that's why I love my Springfield. Is it XP, XD? XD with that safety,
grip safety,
the grip safety.
Yep.
Like I think it's that saves me from me better than any other firearm that I own.
It's it works until it doesn't though.
Gotcha.
It's one of the most broken guns in classes of all gun manufacturers ever. Yeah.
Well, I love the concept of it.
Yeah. The concept's great. The application is not so much.
Well, this lady has been fired.
Good.
Yeah, and I want to be very careful here. I'm just reading some of the comments on Twitter. People are going, "Oh, this is a DEI hire, this, that, and the other." I don't know. I want to be very careful not to lump our female cops into
My mom was one.
Yeah, mine too. And I have several female friends who are very capable law enforcement, and I want them in my foxhole if all hell ever breaks loose. So I'm going to be very careful about suggesting that this has because she was a woman. This is a training issue.
This is 100% a training issue.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with her being a woman. I bet you we can find more videos of guys doing this than women. Yeah. Well, obviously, just because there's a lot more male cops.
Whatever academy she went to, and then whatever department she was assigned with, failed her 100%.
Yeah, 100%. The same thing happened. Well, not the same thing, but it was up in was it Minnesota? It seems like it's always Minnesota with cops shooting people. But the lady who thought she was pulling her taser and pulled her gun.
Yeah.
Instead, a year or two ago.
Believe it or not, a lot of departments mandate you carry your taser on your offhand side.
Your weak side.
Yep. And draw it with that hand, too. So I think MHP is one of them. Mm-hmm. If you ever look at their loadout, their gun is on their strong side, their taser is on their other side. Some departments allow you to draw it with your strong hand no matter what, and the taser will be on the other side, but it will be a cross draw where you still draw it with your strong hand.
So let me ask you this, Hunter. Is this all stuff that you go over in your training classes or have the ability in some of your training classes? I mean, can you do law enforcement? I'm sorry, I didn't mean Hunter. Tyler. Mm-hmm. I was looking at Tyler, but said Hunter. Tyler, is this all stuff that you go over in your training classes? And
it depends on the class, but yes, I have all this in my head, and if it comes up and it needs to be gone over, yes.
So, let's just say somebody that's not going to go through the police academy for whatever reasons, but they're going to be high-level private security of some sort.
That doesn't exist in Mississippi, but yeah.
Yeah, but for the sake of this conversation, high-level private security, they can take a law enforcement firearm training class through you?
Well, it's not. It's all training.
Yeah.
It's all like being proficient with your gun is being proficient with your gun, no matter what the application is.
Gotcha.
Tactics are specific to whatever your job is, but shooting proficiency is just shooting proficiency. Yeah. And I tell everybody this: not sucking at shooting is a tactic.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. All right, look, we got to take one more break. We ran over on a couple segments here. We got to take another break, and we'll be right back with a short segment, and then we'll have our top of the hour break, which we will stay on the live stream. So if you're watching online, we're going to stay with y'all for the top of the hour break. Radio folks, don't go anywhere. Rip the knob off. It's WYAB. It's the Clay Edwards Show. Why would you change the channel? Let's hear about some of these great local sponsors in those commercial breaks. Get out, support those guys today because we could not do this without them. We'll be right back with Tyler Tharp, Hunter Sartain, and, of course, Clay Edwards here on our 2A roundtable today. Usually hour two, we get into a little bit more meat and potatoes of the actual conversation. So we'll be right back with that. Thank y'all. Here for about a minute on the Clay Edwards Show. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. Back on the screen. We got about 40 seconds left here. Guys, hour two, we got a bunch of questions from y'all. We're going to get into those. We'd love to hear more from you. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Want to call in any gun questions, training, gun use, any of that stuff. We got you covered here this morning with Guns and Gear's very own Mr. Hunter Sartain and with Synergy Training Group's Tyler Tharp. We got you from both ends, from the sales and service side and from the training and proper use side, self-defense, all of that with Tyler. And, of course, who knows what rabbit holes we may jump down. I can pull us down some rabbit holes if I can't do anything else. There is some talk of a national, not a national ban, but a national concealed carry law being made, getting passed. We'll see. See if that'll pass the muster. I don't think, you guys don't think it will, right?
No.
Probably not.
Well,
I appreciate the sentiment, though.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and more. Y'all stay tuned. We will be right back in 7 minutes. All right, we're going to stay on. You don't have to use your headphones because you'll just hear the commercials.
Yeah.
But whatever, during the breaks, when we stay live, you have to hear the commercials if you're wearing the headphones.
Yeah.
But when we're live, like on radio, you hear yourself.
Yeah.
So I always take the headphones off. All right. Of course, somebody would call, and I have not figured out how to take a call during the break and be able to listen to the headphones. So they're just SOL, unfortunately.
What questions have you gotten?
Hold on a second. Hello?
Pause that. I got to pee real quick.
Yeah, hang on. Can I tell them who it is? Sure, hold on. Somebody with the same last. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Men's Health of Mississippi. Guys, we always talk about testosterone, and I've been seeing a lot of low T behavior going on out there. A lot of low T behavior. I've seen my buddy Fred Shanks just put forth a bill to chemically castrate sexual offenders who violate people 13 and under. And one of the things that, so I Googled what chemical castration was, and one of the things that it causes is a decrease in testosterone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if that was ever low T behavior, it is somebody that thinks that doing that kind of stuff is acceptable. And if lowering your testosterone is a criminal punishment, you should know that it's a valuable asset, your testosterone. Go get your levels checked today. I hate to tie that in, but it just made me think that like the chemical castration is basically cutting off your testosterone to your sac. And I mean, so it eliminates your sex drive. Low testosterone eliminates your sex drive amongst your drive to be a productive citizen, a man. That's the last thing you want to do in this world right now. We ain't completely won this battle. We still got some fighting to do. Mm-hmm. We need your high testosterone levels out there. You need to go get checked. You need to do it. My little ad for Men's Health Mississippi says, she'll thank you later. I mean, I get texts and calls from my friends' wives and girlfriends all the time. Thank you for talking to him about testosterone. It has saved our marriage. And whether it's your sex life or your personal life or whatever, the drive and determination that you regain when your testosterone levels get back up there, the sense of accomplishment, the endorphin rush, just all of that, serotonin levels are higher, the whole 9 yards, all the benefits. Don't be missing out on that. Go see Men's Health in Mississippi today. If you'll text my name, and I never have the phone number pulled up in time to do it, give me 2 seconds here. Text Clay. Where is my number at? Men's Health. Got to search it 2 different ways here. Men's Health. What the hell? 601. Oh, here it is. Sorry, I got it pulled up on the screen. 601-327-8550. 601-327-8550. And hey, guys, if you're suffering from fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, that's your sex drive, brain fog, or sleep disturbances. And I know it's funny when I say it, but it's true. One of the easiest ways to know if you have low testosterone is if no need to chop down that morning wood. If that morning wood ain't there, it's a first sign that you could have low testosterone. Real talk. And when that testosterone is right, magically, that morning wood reappears. Don't ask me how I know. Anyway, Men's Health of Mississippi, take advantage of that free testosterone screening today. And they check for other things too. It's a full levels check, so you're going to see what all your what all your chemical balances are or aren't, estrogen, all that stuff. And look, they're going to give you an estrogen blocker if you have high estrogen levels. You're not going to worry about getting man boobs. Boom, shakalaka boom. It's hour 2 of the Most Incendiary Show on the RADIO. That is the Clay Edwards Show. Of course, we're online too. Well, first, we're on the RADIO on the Big Stick 103.9 FM, WYAB here in central Mississippi, FM, of course, not AM, FM. And we're online at WYAB.com for the audio-only version. People ask all the time about a WYAB app. We don't necessarily have an app that you go download from the App Store, but what you can do is pull up your browser. If you have Apple, you pull up your, Safari, go to WYAB.com, click Listen Live, and when you get to that screen, add it to your home screen. Boom, you've got a WYAB app. And it streams the station 24/7, 365. Whatever's on the radio is on that app. You can't go back and rewind or do anything like that, but you can listen live in the moment. And if you want to go back and listen to any of the shows, some of us podcast ours, some of us don't. Myself, actually, I think everybody on the station right now does in fact podcast their show. If you have, except Chip Matthews, but he does a live stream on his Facebook, so you can go back and watch that there. So whether it's Matt Bishop in the mornings, myself, Jameson Haygood is podcasting his now, which I think is the smartest move of anybody at this station, because his content is so national that it needs the ability for people outside this market to hear it. So I'm really excited for Jameson getting it out there in the digital realm finally. And then, of course, I do Kim Wade's podcast for him because I think it's important to – Kim is a national treasure, and I think it's important that we archive all of that. You know, you got a black conservative here in Mississippi saying the things that he says and fighting the fight that he has, and it's as authentic as it gets. You know, I mean, Kim is the real deal Holyfield. Like, anybody that knows him knows this ain't for show. This is for go. You know, he's not. If we're going to use the show car analogy, is it a show car? Is it a race car? Kim is a race car, and it is 100% authentic. And speaking of Kim Wade, we want to wish Kim a happy birthday, our very own radio strongman. So if you see Kim Wade today, tell him happy birthday. If you think about it, call into the show later and wish him happy birthday on the show. We came really close to losing Kim a couple years ago, and it really put things into perspective. I think that's when I started deciding, hey, we're going to start podcasting your show, you know, because we got you back. And the first show on the podcast is his return show, which was an extremely emotional day. I mean, it crashed all our servers. So many people were trying to listen.
Yeah.
It was a big show, and we put it up on the podcast. So it's episode 1. It's his return show from COVID. And, I mean, like I said, he was gone for a couple of months. He was in the hospital for a long time, and we came as close to losing somebody and not losing them as I've been a part of in my adult life. You know, usually somebody gets that down, they don't come back. So, anyway, we're excited to have Kim back full force. It looks like he is going to, in fact, running for mayor. He's got a couple of days left to get qualified. I'm sure he's taking it up to the last minute to keep his name on people's mouths, on people's tongues, lips, whatever the word is, you know. He keeps them talking. Why ain't Kim qualified? Why ain't Kim qualified? Well, you talking about him? That's why. You're talking about now the Mayor Jackson, on the other hand, he ain't qualified for a whole different set of reasons. And with the official Will Chalkway qualify countdown clock has started now on here on the Clay. It's the official Clay Edwards Show Will Chalkway qualify countdown. And we got 5 days till Friday, right? 5 days? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 5 days. We got till Friday at, I guess, around 5 o'clock. Whatever time close of business is, at whatever office you get qualified at, to get qualified. And he's the sitting mayor. He said he's running. Why ain't he qualified? Oh, I know why. He ain't turned in those campaign finance reports that they're demanding him have. And that, we believe, is going to give the feds the roadmap to all the corruption if he does, in fact, turn them in. So there's a reason why he hasn't turned them in. He's having to figure out what he can lie about, what he can't lie about. He's having to have a real honest-to-God conversation with his attorneys. And, you know, because you go lying to the feds, that's a whole other charge. That's when the feds love to get you on, is lying to the feds. So, and it don't just mean lying in a courtroom. That means having a couple conversations here. Did this happen? Well, that's lying to the feds. Did you do it? I didn't do it. That's lying to the feds if you did. If you get found guilty, they go back and say, remember when you said you didn't do it? That's an extra 5 years lying to the feds. So Chokwe's got a lot to unpack. I think you would want to be able to run from a position of strength as the mayor, but I don't know, man. It's going to be fun to watch. Y'all know where I stand on this thing. I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about. We got Trump back. We got Chokwe laced up with five different felony charges. We got Jody laced up with 8 different felony charges, and these are the 2 dudes that are the reason I started this whole platform to begin with, because of what they've done to Jackson and Hinds County, and what single-handedly what Jody did to Anthony Fox.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'll never forgive that. I didn't even know Anthony at the time, but I just saw what was being done to that man. And so anyway, Kim Wade for mayor, 2025.
That's it.
That's the point. Happy birthday, Kim. All right, so we teased it a second ago. We'll get to these people's questions in a second, but I want to ask y'all this. Last week, I got a notification after we agreed to do this. I was like, well, here's something for us to talk about. Fox News reports, and I hadn't even read the story. You know, maybe y'all know a little bit more about it. But something about a national concealed carry law.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't really affect us necessarily down here, I guess, unless we travel to a state like New York or California.
Reciprocity.
Yeah,
exactly. But that, you know, this has been proposed before and it didn't go through.
Yeah, but now we've got full control of all 3 branches of government.
Yeah, I don't remember. So I don't remember what the dynamic was last time Trump was in office, but it was proposed back
We didn't have
then.
full control, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason I've never been to New York City or anywhere like that I would like to go to see it, but I ain't going if I can't carry a gun.
I ain't going to New York. Same here. I've seen it on TV.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I've seen the people in New York. They ain't really my folks. Not all of them. There's obviously some good people. Trump's from there. But for the most part, it's not anywhere I'm really just itching to go to. I have zero interest to see San Francisco. There's nothing over there I want to see. I don't find it.
There's no metro area of California I want to see.
No, I've been to L.A., lived there for a few months. It was cool.
I've been to Sacramento.
I came back as quick as I could get back.
Yeah. No.
You know, like I said, I'm not a beach guy either.
I'm not either.
My wife
more
is
of a mountain guy.
I mean,
Yeah,
we got
I
the Gulf
sand.
of America 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I want to see a beach, I'll go down there.
There you go.
Well, but the water's brown. I don't care. I'm not getting in the water. Could be crystal clear blue. I'm not getting in it. I get in swimming pools. I am a urbanized redneck. Mm-hmm. I need concrete pools, concrete ponds. So anyway, so y'all know any details on this thing?
Not enough.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at it because don't really feel like it's going to happen, so it's not really worth hitting on that hard.
It's the same thing as the National Hearing Protection Act proposal thing, where that'll take suppressors off the NFA list and you can just go in and buy it just like you would a regular firearm. And it's been proposed. We're on the 3rd or 4th time they're trying to propose that. It's all well and good, and it's cool and all. And I like the fact that it happens because it keeps our rights on the forefront of
absolutely
things that they're thinking about. So it kind of slows their process of slowly eliminating our rights. Because they're not just going to up in one day, overnight, come take all of our guns. That's not how it's going to work. They're just going to slowly impose small little ordinances and laws that seem fine at the moment because you'll have some big shooting thing that seems to justify the whatever they're trying to push. And next thing you know...
Like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Right during the middle of the Hearing Protection Act, was that 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Well,
8 years ago.
You both mentioned the Hearing Protection Act now. What's that?
Suppressors.
Okay.
Removing silencers from the NFA, so you'd be able to come in essentially and buy a silencer just like you'd buy a regular gun.
For hearing protection purposes.
Right.
Not for being able to shoot people and get away with it silently.
Yeah, last time I checked, murder's still illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing I always... They've treated that as I can go and shoot a gun and people not hear it. I've never looked at it like that. That's what Hollywood wants you to think. And like I've always looked at it like it's hearing protection.
Yeah.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
It's no different than the muffler on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually how it is in some countries in Europe. To buy a gun,
Oh, yeah.
over there you have to go through the processes equivalent to here to buying an NFA item, background check, several, could be months, years wait, versus over there they can go in and buy a silencer over the counter like we buy a gun.
Yeah.
And that's how it
kinda
should
backwards.
be. But,
Yeah, it should be that way.
I mean,
But the chances of that happening,
Where's that at?
slim.
like Europe,
So I need to get somebody in Europe to go buy me a suppressor and mail it to me.
well, you could do that technically,
Yeah.
yes, but you'd probably go to jail.
Federal jail.
Yeah.
Well, you would rather go to federal jail if you go to a jail. My understanding of parchment, at least in Mississippi.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd rather be around federal prisoners than I would
Club fed all the way.
than I would be stuck with a bunch of Jacksonians that got moved up to Parchman.
Yeah, in Unit 29. I don't think any of us would do well up there.
All right, we got a text from Miss Angela with the Mike magazine. Shout out to Miss Angela. She's one of my favorite, I don't want to say followers, but she's one of my favorite people. She's been on this show before. Angela's a black female, probably leans Democrat, but she's very down the middle. And
I think I've heard her on here before.
She's been on the show, yeah. She's very, she'll listen to both sides, and she'll surprise you and post something that I would see that you would think is a conservative viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because now we've just said anything common sense is a conservative viewpoint, forgetting that there are still some common sense Democrats out there. So it's like now just common sense we've lumped in as conservative. But Miss Angela's very common sense.
I know who you're talking about now. She's got very much an old school mom voice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just good people. She's from the Delta. Just good salt of the earth people.
She reminds me of my mom.
That's good. She's good people. I need to get her back on the show here soon. She keeps some company I don't care for. But so she brings them with her. I'm like, yeah, that's a joke. Anyway, I know she's listening. Anyway, it says, here's her question. A news article, headline says, Florida officer fired after she accidentally shot a driver with his own gun during a traffic stop. Mm-hmm. The question is, does this officer deserve a second chance to become a police officer again? And I'm going to tie this into something locally here, too. So you say no.
Hell no.
Think that's an automatic disqualifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it almost has to be, doesn't it?
Well, she's a liability. There's no telling how much money that department's have to pay out.
Yeah, that guy just...
Rightfully so.
That guy just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you what, for the money he's going to get, I might would take one below the knee.
Well, that was a 45. So depending on how that bullet went into his leg, he may never walk right again. I mean, he'll keep his leg, I'm sure, but he's probably going to walk with a gimp for the rest of his life.
I mean, he'll get a 7-figure income for it, for sure.
I mean, he'll be an OG with a limp.
Yeah.
Good reason to walk with a cane.
Yeah.
I am a pimp. Pimps do not run. I do not chase women. So let's bring that locally about cops getting second chances.
Yeah.
Y'all kept up with what's going on in Pearl?
No, but I heard the
Jeremy Rast.
I have not heard about it. I saw something about where the chief is under some hot water or whatever.
Long story short, Jeremy was in Richland.
Okay.
And the current police chief was, Nick McClendon is from Richland also. They're not from there. They both worked there.
Sure.
Maybe I have my timeline a little mixed up here. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but this is my assumption. I believe I'm right. They worked together. I want to say that Nick was Jeremy's chief at one point.
Okay.
And then Nick left to take the Pearl the Pearl police chief job. Jeremy stayed. It was the current chief. Or at least it wasn't Nick that fired him from there. Jeremy got fired for he had told some Mexicans to go back to Mexico or something. Very frustrated.
Call him a beaner or something like that. I forget.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact quote.
Yep.
I remember the go back to Mexico.
Yeah.
But the side of that story they don't tell you is that dude was a habitual a-hole.
Frequent flyer.
Yeah, frequent flyer, constantly in trouble. I don't believe he was an illegal or anything like that. Should he have said it? No. Did his patients get tested? And he was basically like, if I have to come back out here again, you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. And he lost it a little bit. Didn't call him, didn't really slander him, I don't think. I mean, just whatever, man. I mean, if I could think about the things cops said to me in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if this is getting cops fired now, God dang. I mean,
I remember some of the things my dad said.
Yeah. So this has been I think this has been over a year now, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It is. That this happened. I don't know what Jeremy's been doing for income, but he's gone through all the DEI, we'll call it, sensitivity, racial sensitivity trainings, and he's got to go through some more as part of getting this job. And people are just flipping out like this dude said the N-word, which I believe in second chances. If you say that and you go through all the whatever they force you to go, whatever you agree to go through to be able to get another job, you should be allowed to.
Yeah, I mean, that's very different than shooting someone.
100%.
An innocent person at that.
Yeah, 100%. But, I mean, we're treating this guy, not we, but I mean, generally speaking, the public is treating this guy like he shot somebody. Or like he put his foot on the back of a black man's neck, and assisted him with his suicide or something. I mean, the big deal they made out of this, and it was not like coming from the minority side necessarily. It was a lot of it was like the minorities, just that typical nonsense. But it was a lot of what I would call white rednecks all up in the comments. They're just anti-authority people. Mm-hmm. They're he's there's no reason we should have this guy as a cop. Pearl cops are always just a bunch of a-holes. Well, that's how Pearl's safe. I'm sorry. Everybody don't get to be officer friendly, and you have a super, super safe community. It takes talking to bad guys and tuning folks up to do it.
I mean, that's kind of their job. I mean, they never get called to come hang out at a party and enjoy life. They always get called when something's wrong.
Yeah.
When something bad's happened, that's when they show up.
Our current president, that these very people I see complaining about this cop doing this, is literally doing the same thing, except he's rounding people up on planes and sending them back.
Yeah.
Illegal or whatever. I understand the difference in illegal versus legal immigration. Mm-hmm. But point being that you F around, you find out.
That's it.
Now, I get that the timing may be a little bad for Pearl because they just fired that cop and he got federally charged for making that Mexican dude lick his own pee up. That was bad.
Is that the same guy?
No.
Totally different guy.
Say.
No.
Holy crap.
But that happened in Pearl with a Mexican guy,
yeah.
And now you hire a guy that made some, told some Mexicans to go back to Mexico or whatever,
Sure.
And it blends. It can all together. It could be. I can understand it, the optics.
Sure.
I don't have a problem with it because Pearl. One thing Pearl does when a cop f's around is that cop finds out. They have no problem firing cops and charging them. And they've done it with a guy that stole some money, and they did it with this cop and they self-report, by the way. These aren't outside investigations. This is Pearl finding this stuff out and handling their business.
Their own internal affairs, if they even have such.
Yeah, well, whatever it may be. And like that one deal happened with the licking up the pee when Dean was in the hospital.
God, that made
the previous
me so
cop
mad
was in the hospital, and then, which I don't want to get into their leadership structure because I don't know how all that works over there. Mm-hmm. I know at the end of the day it falls on the chief and it falls on Mayor Jake's lap because he's the mayor. He hires the chief.
That's it.
And look, that's one mayor that I trust more than any others around here, and he's done a heck of a job. And he's a former policeman himself, Pearl policeman, citizen of Pearl. If Jake's well aware, and Nick McClendon is a guy I'm personal friends with beyond this radio stuff, if they knew the backlash this would get one, they understand how this works. I was surprised they posted the picture, just knowing what the backlash would be. But sometimes you just got to jump out in front of it. It's like, hey, here's what we're doing, like it, love it, or leave it, And they jumped out in front of it. They did it. 24-hour news cycle. People are puffing and blowing smoke and pissy and all that.
Reactions and all that.
Yeah, and hopefully, I really didn't even want to talk about it because I didn't want to bring attention to it. But I think sometimes you need to tell people need to hear what I call the common sense version. And it's like, do we really want to start where we judge people on their worst moment ever when it's not something nonviolent?
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't break a law. He didn't do anything. He just said some words.
Sure.
And we're going to sit here and we're going to say that is supposed to keep him from being able to have a career in this field
or do
forever.
Do his job properly.
Yeah, like we're going to say this guy can't be a cop ever again.
Yeah,
I mean he's taken over a year off from it. He lost his job. I mean, what else do you want? You got your pound of flesh. Mm-hmm. Let this guy get back to work. People deserve second chances, and people get them for a lot worse.
It ain't like he was getting paid much to begin with. I know what cops get paid.
Yeah,
I would think it's, and this is just my personal opinion, that Nick, Jake, those guys know what they're doing, and if they didn't think that this guy was good, they wouldn't have hired him.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I support them.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, I don't know Jeremy. I've met him a few times. He's always been really cool to me. And I judge people on personal relationships. Mm-hmm. And, there's been plenty of times where people I know have done something really bad, but I take into the account that, hey, I'm going to look at this from a personal relationship standpoint like I would hope people would me. It's like, well, you know what, man? I mean, I know that Clay may have said something that really offended a bunch of people, but I know Clay, and I know how he treats me, and that ain't how he treats me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And same with everybody.
And what he said, I mean, do we even know if they were undocumented or legal? Or?
I believe they're legal.
Legal?
I'd had to go back and read the original thing, but I believe they were legal. So
one thing,
but they were troublemakers.
Yeah, and I've never been a cop, have no desire to be a cop, but I was a paramedic for 15 years in Central Mississippi, including Jackson, worked in Pearl. The general public does not see the amount of frustration that, like that day that Jeremy was experiencing, because you don't know what his call was before that, who he had to deal with. I mean, that was around that, no, that was Pearl, I think, that had that. Yeah.
Hold that thought we've run over. We got to take a break.
Right.
We're going to pick this up on the other side. And Kara Shirley with WLBT is saying it has not been a year, so I will get the exact date while we're there. But it's been long enough. He got fired.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care how long it's been, honestly. He got fired. He deserves a chance to go have another job. Of course, I imagine a lot of our local media has had it out for Pearl PD for a long time. So I imagine they're not going to be very unbiased about this. I'm not talking about Kara here, by the way. I just mean in general.
Yeah.
That's why the story's being blown up to what it is. We'll be right back on The Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to The Clay Edwards Show, here live on WYAB, streaming worldwide, WYAB.com, streaming in 4K video at Save JXN on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. You can check that out, see what all the fellas here in the studio look like this morning. You can, if you like that hat I'm wearing, that FAFO hat, you can pick it up at buyfafo.com. This segment brought to you by our friends over at, how about Ellis Autoplex? Swing by, see Casey and the team today right there on Highway 471 in, I don't know if it's technically Flowood or Brandon. I think it's Flowood, in Flowood, Mississippi. There's a weird little section of 471 that's Flowood.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Flowood city limits makes no sense.
And the speed limit drops from 55 to 45 for about a quarter of a mile, like right there at the entrance to at the back entrance to the big church over there. I always jokingly call it Six Flags Over Jesus. What's it called?
Pine Lake.
Pine Lake. Thank you. Pine Lake. That's not an insult, by the way. It's a compliment. It's a lot going on there. Big place. Yeah. And anyway, so it's a speed trap, and Flowood cops are always right there. And if you don't pay attention, but boom, they get. So I just go 45 all the way down 471. You know, I just like, you know what? I'm not taking a chance. I'm not getting speed trapped. But anyway, Ellis Autoplex is inside that. This is inside the speed trap. Is how I know it's Flowood, and I worked there for a year. So anyway, stop by, see Casey and the team today. Little Truck City. They specialize in four-wheel drives, four-wheel drive, four-door trucks, full size, of course. But hey, don't worry. They got cars, SUVs too, and they even keep some two-wheel drive trucks around for those that don't need four-wheel drive. You can check them out online, ellisautoplex.com, and of course, they will buy your vehicle on the spot. They pay fair market value for it and cut you a good local check today that you can go cash today. I ain't talking about none of this marketplace fake check nonsense. I don't know why you guys keep getting suckered into that, but I get it. I don't get it. You got to do some profiling sometimes. And if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So go by, see Casey and the team. Don't get ripped off in some online hustle. Go by there. Let them make you a good market value, fair market value offer for your truck. Whether you buying or car or whatever, whether you're buying one from them or not, they will still pay you fair market value. And they are also getting into the auto repair business. If you got any major automotive repairs, swing by, let them do an estimate on it. Of course, if usually when you need major automotive repair, the vehicle is inoperable at that point. But let them get it towed there, whatever. Get in touch with them, and they'll get it all figured out, get you an estimate for it, and it will be done right, and it will be done right the first time. That's Ellis Autoplex, brand Flowood, Mississippi, Highway 471, ellisautoplex.com. All right, let's see here. I pulled up the story on Jeremy Rast. It happened back in June. It happened June. At least the story broke June 5th of this year. So 7 months.
Yeah.
7 months. I mean, how long is this guy supposed to be out of work?
Yeah, I mean, he's already at 30. That's 25, 30 grand at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's been doing for the last year. You know, like there's just we're at a point where it's like, all right, you know, it enough's enough. You know, that's how I feel about it.
Yep.
You know, it's time to let the guy go back to work. I tried to pull your comments up on the screen, but it knocks off half of my guests. So we're going to pull your comments back off the screen there. But I will read a few of them. Miss Angela says in the live chat, she goes, I am pro law enforcement and I support the leadership. I just need more transparency. And they stepped up to speak to the general public. They did do that. I mean, they had a meeting about it the other night and took questions from the public. They didn't force Jeremy to sit up there and get drilled by the public. I don't think that's fair to him either. You know, you trust your leadership. Mm-hmm. You voted for them, trust them. Let's take a call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line this morning. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, Clay.
Hey.
Hey, Clay, I'm a listener, man. I am from Texas. I just moved from Texas about a year ago. And I'm with you. I'm with you on this police officer, man. I think he deserves a second chance, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at some point, I mean, he lost his job. He's lost over a half year's salary, lost his going into PERS, the retirement system, lost his benefits, just lost all that. I mean, okay, cool. He was in the wrong. Yeah. He ate it. Let's give the guy a second chance.
Yeah, Clay. I'm a Latino man, you know, and I firmly believe in second chances, and I firmly believe I back the blue 100%. And if you're out there doing wrong, man, you know, don't be expected to treat it with a, you know, with a silver spoon, man. If you're out there acting dumb, then you know, F around and find out.
I mean, I love it. Hey, you know, brother, I tell the story all the time. I used to be quite the screw up, and cops used to mess with me all the time. It's phenomenal how this timeline works. I quit doing dumb stuff, and cops quit messing with me.
It's amazing.
Amen, brother. Amen.
It's phenomenal how that works. Well, look, brother.
Hey, man, thanks for taking my call, man. I'm a fan, and I listen to you guys every morning.
Hey,
so
well, look, man. Whenever
keep up the fight, brother.
Hey, yeah. Hey, look. Whenever I am out doing one of my live events, man, please come out and introduce yourself sometime. We'd love to meet you.
For sure, brother. Thank you, Sean.
Take it easy. Welcome to Mississippi.
Great.
That was cool.
Yeah, great caller.
Great call. Great call. You know, and he fit the demographics that he's a Hispanic man,
Sure.
And you know, hey, look, man, you
100%.
You find out. I mean,
Yeah.
quit doing dumb stuff.
It makes sense that they believe in second chances because for a lot of them, America is their second chance.
100%. You know, if not for them directly, you know, he may be first generation American,
Family,
but
something, yeah.
But yeah, family. Inevitably, somebody came here from Mexico, somewhere in South America. You know, and they do. You know what I've learned with all this immigration stuff, doing what it has, and that's why the Hispanic vote went so hard. Trump. It's the people that came here legally.
They put in the work.
Put in the work.
Yep.
Like, and not just from Mexico. Sean's dad is from Turkey. You know, he came here legally.
Yeah.
Did it the hard way.
Yep.
And got Americanized, you know, and he even speaks English, and learned English and all that. And like when they'd be in Miami, that he would see people that were speaking in other languages and stuff. He's like, no, we're speaking America. We're in America. And like he would call people out for English not being their first language here and stuff. And I love that, man.
Yeah.
And but to the point, that's why they went so hard with Trump on this border and this immigration issue is because, hold on, man, I worked my ass off to become a legal American citizen. You should too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I feel about everything. And this may be a terrible comparison here, but it's why I raised so much hell about the people being mad about the cameras with the tag readers for insurance. I have to have it.
Yeah.
You not having it is making all of our rates higher.
Yeah.
That's why uninsured motorists are so expensive in Mississippi.
Well, that and body shops screwing insurance companies, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're all in on it. The insurance companies got into the body shop business because of, we got to take another break. We ran over big. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere on the Clay Edwards Show. There, we could talk about this Jeremy Rast stuff all day, but I don't want to bring any more attention to it. I support him in having a second chance. It seems like the listeners seem to overwhelmingly support that. I think you guys both support that. Let's talk about guns for a minute. You know, we talked about the gun shows stuff for a second. You know, I'm a huge supporter of local businesses, and whether Hunter is here or not, whether Guns and Gear is a sponsor of this show or not, I have always said the gun show loophole, if that's what we're going to call it, that's a real thing. And it's people exploiting a loophole in the law to go sell and make money selling guns at a gun show without a license or having to do the federal background checks to the people selling the gun. Now, if they sell a gun to a felon, that's on them. You know, that's a felony. You know, and they're rolling the dice on that, I would say. But to each their own, I reckon.
Yeah.
But Hunter, what are your thoughts on it, man? Like, explain to people exactly what that is. I think I probably just did, but
yeah, you kind of did. But yeah, I mean, I hold 2 federal firearms licenses. It takes a lot of money, background checks, and I've got to pay, you know, income tax, employment tax, inventory tax. I've got to pay just to sell silencers. I've got to pay the federal government over $1,000 every year just so I can sell silencers, along with any other gun dealer or any other NFA item. But then you got these people, and I see them. I don't see them as much as I used to, but I mean, I've had guys come into the store before for instance, like when I've had a lot of police trade-ins or something, very inexpensive guns. Man, I've had guys come in before buy 30 or 40 at a time. And while that is their 100% right, there's no limit on how many guns one person can buy. I mean, I guess your limits would be your wallet, more or less. But, you know, and they're buying stuff that is not of the collectible kind. Like, why would you want this times 30 or 40? And you find out later that, you know, they're taking them and exploiting it and going and, you know, you're giving them a deal because they're buying so many, then they're turning around and making a huge profit off of it and playing gun dealer without a license. Yeah. Which is, I mean, rightfully a slap in my face. And this one particular individual that I will remain nameless because he could listen, no longer comes to Guns and Gear anymore because I cut him off. Yeah. But he does frequent another local gun store. And
because what can end up happening is, let me paint this picture for people, is you sell this guy these guns, and you're free and clear at that point. Yeah. You're free and clear. You did it the right way, sold him the guns. Then because you have a good conscience, but then this guy can go and sell these guns at this auction house, and people aren't doing background check or gun shows or wherever. And next thing you know, these guns that were sourced from Guns and Gear, and because Hunter has a good conscience, end up in the hands of convicted felons, street thugs, whatever, and people end up out here killing people with a gun that was originally purchased from Guns and Gear. Again, doesn't affect you, you know, legally by no means, but you don't want that on your conscience, knowing that you're feeding that problem.
Yeah, and when law enforcement does a trace on a gun, then obviously, I find out then where it ended up, and it's like, really? Yeah. So I actually cut the guy off and just said, we're not doing this anymore.
So you can see, like, you can go back and find out that a gun you sold him ends up being part of a crime. You're like,
if it's recovered by law enforcement, not necessarily just by crime. Say, it would be a crime, but law enforcement recovers a gun, and then they want to find out who it was. Say it's a Smith & Wesson M&P 15. Well, that they contact the FBI. The FBI is going to take that serial number, call Smith & Wesson. Go Smith & Wesson's going to say, all right, we shipped that gun to distributor X. Then they're going to call distributor X. Distributor X says, oh, yeah, we sold that gun to Guns and Gear in Mississippi. Then they're going to call me and want a copy of the 4473, the paperwork, or what dealer I sent it to.
Sure. And we got a text here. We're going to make this quick. And I get James's point here. Anytime you can find a way to not have to pay more taxes to a corrupt government, I'm all for. But the problem is you're forcing gun stores to have to pay all these damn taxes. And then you're sitting here allowing another guy to legally do the exact same thing.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, without all the same rules and regulations. And I think you're creating two sets of rules to do the same thing. And one guy that has little to no skin in the game other than his inventory is being rewarded for having no skin in the game, while the guy that's got all the skin in the game and doing it the right way is punished and taxed to the highest degree. And he had just said, if they found a way around the law and cannot pay the government more taxes, good on them.
Well, they didn't find a way around the law. If their intent is to sell for monetary gain, then that's still illegal. So this gentleman that we're speaking of, that is very illegal, and someone should report him.
Yeah.
Selling your own stuff at a gun show is no loophole. That's private sales, which is totally legal and fine. I support that freedom. But guys that are doing what Hunter was talking about, they need a big old kick in the rear and some sort of charges pressed against them.
Well, just because in that whole selling your collection thing, that's a red herring anyway. Because most of these guys, this is what they do for a living. I buy a gun from somebody, it's now part of my collection, and now I'm reselling it. It's not inventory. It's my collection. We got to take our last break. Online audience, stay with us. We're going to ride with you up to the top of the hour. Radio audience, we'll be right back to land the plane for the day. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Hunter Sartain and Tyler Tharp. We'll be right back. Y'all just take your headphones off.
Yeah. So,
all right, just continuing on.
Like what he's saying, though, I mean, well, gosh, then I guess maybe I should just quit paying the government, and then all your gun stores go away. And while some people would probably be perfectly happy with local gun stores going away and going, oh, well, I'll just buy everything online. Well, good luck getting a gun.
Yeah.
Other than going to a big box. Oh, yeah, Academy doesn't do transfers. And Academy doesn't sell a Santan Synergy exclusive AR.
Right, exactly.
So you don't get it.
Yeah, and I want to say,
Bass Pro Shop doesn't either.
No.
They don't do transfers either.
Yeah, and I'm not anti-gun show. I love going to the gun shows. I love going to walk around. I don't buy anything at them, but I love going to walk around and seeing everything.
Them so much.
You know, like I enjoy going.
Everything there is the same price. There are no deals to be had, and it's a bunch of idiots.
Well, see, I'm not going shopping.
Trash.
I like to go be around all the people.
Yeah, and there are some dealers, and I would even say this dude's name on the radio, but Sean Morris is people that make gun shows bad. Or make gun dealers look bad. The amount of 144 tactical rifles that I get in the store that people want to trade off, or I paid $1,500 for it. The parts add up retail value in the gun to $399.
Yeah, at the most.
And then he's selling it for $1,500 because he's putting a crappy Cerakote job on it that flakes off, or it's so thick the gun doesn't run.
Yep.
And he is. The world would be a better place if he was not in the gun business.
I've seen a lot of stuff online about that.
Well, that and
topic.
that dude that he screwed that made 3 on your side.
Yeah, that.
There's a special tool to take that nut off, and I know exactly what he did. He used a screwdriver and destroyed it because he doesn't know what he's doing.
I actually witnessed one of his employees staking a castle nut with a wood chisel at a gun show a few years back. I'm not exaggerating. I'm being as literal as that sounds.
Yeah, I personally can't stand him and would happily voice that. And then there's people, though, that'll still go to him. Well, I don't know if they're going to him anymore because he doesn't – I don't know what he's doing now.
No, he's still in business. It's under a different
U.S.
name.
Defense Weaponry.
Yep.
I didn't know if that went in business or not.
Mm-hmm. That's him.
Yeah, well, my point on the gun shows is it's a social thing for me.
God, it's not for me. It makes
now,
me want to pull my hair out.
There's
like
some
a
shows
lot,
that are
like a lot of my listeners are at these things. They enjoy going to them. It's an opportunity for me to get out and meet people. It's a good thing for me.
There's a difference between a gun enthusiast and me.
Sure.
I'm a gun nerd, like, through and through, and that stuff makes my skin crawl. Half the shit they sell there.
Yeah, I like to go look at all the knives and guns. I just like going looking at stuff. But for me, it's a social thing. I get to go meet a lot of people.
Yeah, it's smart for you to go.
Yeah, it's business development for me.
Makes me want to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
No, they actually noticed my gun on me last time when I was exiting the building. The dude was like, "Hey, what's that?" I was like, "Oh, it's my everyday carry." I guess I had just crunched over just right where you could see the top of it through my shirt. He's like, "You weren't supposed to have that inside." I'm like, "Technically, I can. It's absolutely my right, but I'm not going to have this argument with you." Yeah. I just looked at him. I was like, "Okay," and left.
Well,
I'm leaving anyway. What do you want to do? You know?
Yeah.
You want me to retro, take it back out of the car, come back in and leave again? Shut up. Man,
this 2 hours goes by fast.
It does.
So
it does.
And it's perfectly my right to go in there. Technically, it's my legal right to go to the amphitheater with a concealed carry gun. But you ain't doing it. It ain't going to happen.
I won't go to – I've been one time.
Yeah, I've been I actually worked security there, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. My morals just would not allow it.
The one time I went, I left my gun truck. I kept my flashlight because I had to park like way down the main Marquette Road. So I was like, I have my little flashlight, my little stream light, and he's like, "Oh, you can't have that." I was like, "It's going to be dark when I go home. How do I walk back?" Well, you got a light on your phone, don't you? And I'm like, "Okay, so what's the difference? Why can't I have this?" Well, you might shine it in the performer's eyes. I was like, "Why would I do that?" It makes no sense.
Most laws don't. Most laws don't. And ordinances.
And that's not a law.
All right, welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. As we land the plane for the day, I want to thank Hunter Sartain with Guns and Gear. Y'all can check him out online, gunsandgear.co. That's gunsandgear.ca or just .co. Or just swing by in person Tuesday through Saturday right there on Highway 51 North at Yandell Road in that little shopping center on the right. If you're heading north, it's on the right. That's Guns and Gear. And then we got Tyler Tharp with Synergy Training Group. If you need any firearms training, especially larger groups of people, businesses, churches, etc., holler at Tyler at Synergy. Tell them the website.
SynergyShooting.com.
SynergyShooting.com. The podcast will be available here shortly. If you want to go back and listen to it, share it with anybody. All the commercials are cut out of it, so it makes it a little shorter listening. The video will be available on demand immediately as soon as I hit end. You can go back and listen to any of this, and I'll be back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Coming up next, Chip Matthews. See y'all tomorrow. Peace out.